We are joined by the driver of the number 15 Soldier Strong Turns for Troops Honda, Graham Rahal, who won pole for race 1 of this weekend's doubleheader event. Graham Rahal set a track record of 1 minute, 13.9681 seconds. This is the 3rd pole of Graham's career and also his first since 2009. So Graham, it's been a little while since you've been starting first for an IndyCar race event, but I'm sure it's a good relief for you in such a challenging track to be starting up front.
For sure, yeah. It's a little bit of uncharted territories for me, over the last handful of years, and we're used to having to charge from the back, so this is a pretty welcome sight. Obviously, Elio has been a great competitor here this weekend of ours. We've gone back and forth, traded blows. I thought that Group 2 would get us, just due to having some rubber down and stuff. Looking at the times from last year, there was a bigger spread, I think. So I was hopeful that wasn't the case, but in the end, it was very, very, very close. We were fortunate, obviously, that he had a little penalty there, but no matter what, he's going to start next to us, and we all know he's going to be a fierce competitor out there. But as I said yesterday, I feel strongly about my race car. I feel really good about our performance here this weekend, and we're going to go out there and try to control the pace. Hit our fuel targets if that's something we need to do. We're going to look at strategy here in a couple hours, but. I'm very happy for the United Rentals Turns for Troops guys, and hopefully we'll have a good, fun, safe, fast day.
Like you said, your car has been very strong this from yesterday to today. But did you have a feeling going into the qualifying session, just with all of the challenges of your competitors around you, that you would have a shot at pole?
Well, I felt like I would. I definitely felt like I would last night. I felt that for the first time in a long time that I had a legitimate shot, that it wasn't going to take, that if I did my job and I did my best, that I felt like we would be on pole or that we would start on the front row. And, fortunately, rarely does that actually work to plan, but today it did. So, pretty pleased with that.
I think I remember you saying, actually, you knew that your car was going to be a great race car, and that's been consistently the way for your team. What do you think changed this weekend?
Well, I just think that we've found a fairly good balance, because I actually do think our race car will be better than our qualifying car, but or at least I'm hopeful of that. But the sense is that it gives me. I typically set up a car more for race day than qualifying day, but I feel pretty strong about where we're at. So. Again, I don't want to put any extra pressure on myself or my team, but if we go out there and do our job today and yellows don't play a huge role in strategy and things like that, where alternate strategies could pay off, I feel pretty good about where we're at, without a doubt.
Questions for Graham, starting with Bruce and Tony.
A lot of times drivers will say in this series it doesn't really matter where you qualify, but here it really does matter where you qualify. How important is it? Because this is a really tough place to get around.
It is and it isn't. It is tough, but at the same time, tire degradation, things like that have played a role in recent times, and so there's been quite a lot of passing anyway. So I hope today it's hard as hell to pass. So. But as you guys know, and I'll say this on the start, I've gotten wide in turn 1 a couple times, and there's enough grip to kind of muscle your way through. So I have no doubt that Elio is going to push for everything he can on those, the first lap or two to try to get by. I do feel like if we can get ahead and we can preserve the tires, we're going to start on new reds. If we can get ahead and preserve the tires, I feel like we should be pretty strong. But we'll see how it plays out. He's going to give it everything he can, but it is a hard place to pass. But at the same time, it's a physical place. The straightaways being smoother now, I think into 7 is going to create a much better passing zone than it has before. So there should be plenty of action.
Tony?
On the subject of tire deg, how good or bad are the reds, and what do you expect the fall off to be before they start going off?
Well, Tony, so far I haven't seen too much tire deg on my car, so it's hard for me to tell you. And that's the way it always is here. it's nice that now they give us a set of reds to use yesterday, and some guys were able to do a couple of runs on them. Unfortunately, we had a little gearbox issue in practice 2 yesterday. We had to change the box overnight and everything, so I didn't get to do a second run on them. So a little bit hard for me to say, but you know, hopefully they don't wear for us at all, and they wear for everybody else a lot. But typically our car's good on tires. I don't know why my driving style, normally we're better on tired egg than others, and I don't know why that is, but it seems to be the case. So fingers crossed today's one of those days, because as we've seen here in the past, it's thrown strategies completely out the window. I mean, I remember a couple years ago we finished second, but when we went to used reds in the middle of the race, we only did like 8 laps and pitted, you know, because the deg was so bad. So, you know, we'll see.
Graham, yesterday you said you felt if you had a good starting spot, you can kind of pull away. Do you still feel that way? And then second part is, yesterday you said in the afternoon session your handling kind of changed. Are you guys have you debriefed with Oriole at all, and are you guys going to make any changes between now and the race?
Well, we made just 1 or 2 changes overnight, pretty small stuff, and I don't see us making any changes going to the afternoon. Obviously, this afternoon we're not going to be doing 73.9s. So, you know, race pace, I think, is 76 is something like that. I mean, physically, there's no way you could actually do a 73 and keep up. So, you know, we'll have to just see how it plays out. Do I feel like if we can get up front, we can control it? I do. So, we'll see. And I'll say this. I mean, I'm very hopeful now. Things kind of, who knows what will actually happen. But if everything goes smooth and we can lead, you know, through the first couple of laps, I'll be pretty pleased, because Elio is probably the hardest guy to pass on the planet. So I was nervous about that. I'm not going to lie to you. So hopefully, hopefully we can get out front, get clean air, and go.
Greg?
Graham, thanks for talking about tires. My sense is my readers know a lot less about them than I do, which is not much. Can you tell us which tires you used today in kind of a Tires 101 kind of way, and how that's going to affect what you use in the race?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you got the blacks, which are the primary compound. The reds are the alternates. We ran both blacks to start the session, and then we finished on alternates. The alternates are a little bit quicker for me. With my car, the way that it's balanced right now, the reds are a little bit more loose, which is not normal. Normally, when you put the reds on, it grips up the rear of the car. But I've kind of gone the opposite way this weekend. We'll start the race on reds, and then obviously we have to run blacks. So we'll go to blacks next stint, and if the blacks are good, I haven't used very many sets of blacks this weekend on purpose, saving them up. So, I think we'll be able to go to blacks and just carry that on through.
Other questions for Graham? Mary?
Graham, have you thought about taking the car 7 driver McHale to Steak and Shake?
Why?
Because he caused the yellow, and then Elio messed up.
You know, it was close no matter what. It was close. Yeah, I mean, Elio still gets a point, so it's not like it's the end of the world, right? You get a point for being fastest in both groups. So we got a point even if we're second. So he already has 6,000 poles. He doesn't need 6,001. So, you know, nice of him to share one. But, you know, he's still going to start right next to me. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, we all know Elio, right? He's aggressive, very aggressive. He's going to be right there. I mean, I'm not sitting here believing that there's not going to be a threat when it comes into turn 1 and everything else. You know, so see how it plays out.
And how's comparing the Honda to the Chevy? Do you think that you have any benefit to starting the race?
I think they're very close here. So, no major differences. Honda's done a great job. I'm happy to see him on top here this weekend, and we'll go out there and race hard and try to get him a win. You know, obviously in the Motor City. So. It seems to be very, very, very close, very competitive. You know, it's hard to differentiate the two. I haven't looked at, like I was saying this a second ago, but I haven't looked at fuel mileage yet. I've been so focused on just pounding out good laps, I haven't looked yet. So we'll see how that plays role. What could play the biggest role in this race, which is sad but true, is our pit box is pretty far back, and if it comes to a everybody pitting under yellow scenario, we're probably going to be in trouble, because by the time we pit and we're ready to go, it's going to be about 10 cars deep, and all those guys are going to still be coming down pit lane. So that's not ideal at all. But that's what we get for qualifying 20th at Indy, right, or Indy GP. So that's the way it goes.
This was my real question, which I hadn't gotten to yet. On the track, there's a lot of cement. I don't see how much is cement, how much is asphalt. But for the red tires, does the cement, is that good for the red tires, or does it wear it out? Because I know the track's bumpy.
Cement's a little abrasive just because the grinding and everything else. But it has a pretty good level of grip right now, the brake zones and stuff. So it's probably better. In theory, it would wear it more, but it's also slipping less, and sometimes that will help. So, again, it's hard to say. You remember, last year, a lot of guys started on reds and couldn't make them last a stint, and so strategies kind of went all over the board. Page in race 1 was able to make them last, I think. So, that's got to be our goal.